Hi, I'm Caitlin E, and welcome back to the Lit Review. Today I'm introducing a new game that goes along with some book hauls, so let me tell you all about it. So this is going to be episode 1 in a series that I am going to call Hordes and Hauls. I'm going to give you a little bit of my thought process for why I'm introducing this game, the series, into the channel, and then tell you a little bit of the backstory for it. You will have a book haul, and then we will get to the game, which is pretty straightforward and very oriented around a D20, which is part of why I am calling it Hordes and Hauls. I am a big believer that buying books and enjoying that and then reading books are two separate and enabling hobbies. I am maybe better at the buying of the books than I am at the reading, and I'm no slouch in that department either. With that in mind though, I want to be really clear about what my vision and goals are for this series so that we're all on the same page when it comes to like what I am actually trying to accomplish. And if it inspires you to do the same, then I hope you take the same care with that goal setting as I'm going to hopefully do for you here. First of all, I want to say that the goal of this is not to force myself into a book buying ban or to punish myself for buying books, even though there is a technical punishment mechanic in the game I'm going to introduce later, because I don't want to do those things. I love buying books. It's fun. And I'm finally at a point in my life where I have the disposable income to afford that as a hobby, and I love it. However, I have noticed that I am bringing in way more books in a given month than I am reading. And so I'd like to find a little bit more balance and care in that experience, which is to say that I want to keep doing both things, but I would like my numbers to be a little closer. So the goal is not to punish myself or to put myself on a ban or a low buy. So the goal of this series is more realistically to be accountable, to put the numbers and stats in front of me month to month in a fun and playful way, to give me a visibility into what my habits in both of these hobbies actually look like. And the other big goal is that I want to inspire myself and get excited to pull some of those forgotten books off of the shelf. So that's the spirit that this little game is intended to be in. Now let me kind of set the scene of what is going to happen. So let me set the scene for you. There's a little book witch who is taking over as caretaker of a library. She has been in school for a long time. She is trained for this position, and she is so excited to start her new job. However, when she gets there on the first day, she notices that there's a dragon running rampant in the library. All of the new books that have come into the library have overexcited it, made it very awake and not destructive, but just really eager to start hoarding and building his own little pile of books. Do you understand? I am both simultaneously the little book witch and the dragon. It's a real challenge. So the little book witch tries darn near everything to get the dragon to settle down, but it just won't settle. All the new books coming in, the people coming in and out of the library, gets the little dragon all excited, and it can't go to sleep. Left with no other recourse, the little book witch consults her spell books and decides to try to brew the dragon a potion, a soothing draught to put it to sleep. In essence, the goal of this campaign is for the little book witch to make a potion over the next 4 months to try to battle the book dragon by putting it to sleep so that it can go to hibernate and take a nap. I am constantly battling my inner book dragon. I want to sit on a hoard of books, but space being what it is, I can't do that. So I'm going to have a list of books once per quarter that I curate for these little episodes and hauls. And the first prompt that I've kind of built out for that is a very simple one. I will be going off of the highest and lowest rated books based on Goodreads ratings. So numbers 1 through 10 are my lowest rated owned books. And so rolling something that would be a 1 would mean I would have to read the lowest rated on my TBR. Then in contrast, numbers 11 through 20 are my highest rated books. Now when I built this list out, I did do it thinking about series. So I kind of skipped around if it is book 3 in a series and I've only read book 1. The goal being that I will pull that book off my shelves, attempt to read it. And if I do read it, I can give the rating from like 1 through 5. And that is like the strength of that potion ingredient, because as we all know, potions take time to brew. So that's why we're doing it at a quarterly cadence. And then the strength of that potion will either successfully put the baby dragon down for a nap, or it's going to continue its chaos. And my hope is that as my number of books read and books bringing in comes in more balance, I'm going to have stronger and stronger opportunities for a potion to help the baby dragon take a nap. All of that to say, there's still a lot of mechanics that I'm still figuring out. There will be little tweaks here and there as I kind of like figure out what's working for me. But this is hopefully a fun way for me to do both a haul and read some books from my backlist here. Now, I do have a lot going on in February, so I'm a little scared of the outcome of this, but I didn't want to delay in introducing this process just because I know I have a lot going on in February. If I don't finish a book that has been picked for me as an ingredient by the Little Book Witch, there will be consequences, but not punitive consequences, at least not initially. So my goal is if I don't read it, then I kind of count it as a 0 on the ingredient. It has no power. It was very weak. It will still go into the potion. And if I don't read it, I will have to put it back here on my priority shelf. And if I have not finished that book and prioritized it accordingly, after a year, then I will unhaul it. So it is a very soft and gentle use it or lose it challenge with some fun D&D mechanics is essentially what I'm trying to tell you. Crucially, I also want to call out that these are not all books that I bought in January. Some of these are like book boxes I bought months ago or special editions of that same nature, but they came in January. So it's crucial that I'm not counting how much I'm spending in a given month. It's gonna look like I bought way more than I actually did. Some of this is past me coming due, essentially. And a good example of that is I bought the winter box of Hello Lovely's bouquet box that was like Sierra Simone themed. So that included the books Hollow by Karina Halley, Thorn by Ketley Allison, A Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone, who was kind of like the theme of the box. I do already own this and have already read this. So this is a good example of one that will not be counting towards my total number, but we'll get to that in a minute. And then Hell House by Dakota Wild. So this is my first time ever doing like the bouquet box for the like seasonal thematics from Hello Lovely, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I kind of just tried it on a whim. And these are the 3 books that were new to me that came in the box, and I'm probably most excited for Hollow, but I don't really know anything about these others. So if you've read them, please let me know what your thoughts are so that I can kind of understand what I've actually got here. This is a great example of like the book dragon gets really excited by the new shiny things and doesn't really process anything that it's doing. I also bought, I believe from Eternal Embers, which holy smokes do they do beautiful special editions. And so when I saw the Madison Fox box come up last fall, I pre-ordered that real quick. That came in January. And so these were all picks by Madison Fox, who has her own YouTube channel that I will link for you. If you're a romance reader, highly recommend checking her out. But in that box came Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling, Drive Me Wild by Melanie Harlow, Pretty Foil, Baby and the Late Night Howlers by Catherine Moon, which is explicitly why I bought the box. I know Madison is a really big fan of Baby and the Late Night Howlers, and it is also one of my all-time favorite books. The sweet verse in general is just mwah. So I really wanted the special edition. It is very pretty, by the way. I'm very pleased. And then that book box also came with a copy of The Bully by Sophie Lark. Speaking of beautiful special editions, I am not a subscriber to the Arcane Society, but they did a gorgeous Grace Draven collab, and Grace Draven is one of my favorite romantasy authors, so I had to get this. So it is an Arcane Society special edition, but I bought them on Mercari. I don't use that very often, but every once in a while when I want like a one-off of a subscription box, I'm willing to splurge because hello, please look at this. This is Entreat Me. And it's got, it's so pretty. And this is one that I have read, and that is Master of Crows by Grace Draven. They're so pretty. They're just so pretty. And this is what I mean too by like the book dragon in me gets out of control, because I have really like, I love a gorgeous special edition. I am probably always going to love a gorgeous special edition. There's no shame in that, especially if I am budgeting for it appropriately. And again, the financial impact is not what worries me about this hobby. It is literally the space and my limit of space, but I can't regret this. All right, let's talk about some of the other things I brought in. That's kind of the end of my special edition nonsense, but there are still some book box picks floating around in here, so let me see if I can grab those first. So I don't think my Illumicrate came in yet for January. That will probably be in February's haul, but my Hello Lovely trope of the month came in. So for January's pick, it was Latte Darling by S.J. Tilley. I've also never read S.J. Tilley before, so I'm actually really excited about that. Then from the Read Romance Repeat box by The Ripped Bodice, it's Say You'll Be Mine by Naina Kumar, and just really gorgeous, stunning cover. I believe there's fake dating involved. Heck yes. Also got in that box Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by Emma R. Albin, which I'm very excited about. I've got some scattered ones in here. I did end up with Raiders of the Lost Heart by Joe Seguera from a book club exchange. I'm part of a romance romantasy book club where we kind of do some really fun book exchanges and board games. And so this was something I acquired in January, courtesy of the book club, where we kind of like trade off the books that we really liked. So this was, I believe, Jen's pick from my book club. So very happy to have a copy of this. Then I bought some books at Barnes & Noble. I went to Barnes & Noble twice in January, in part because January was my birthday month. Like, I'm not feeling guilty or regretting anything that I've done here, by the way. I really want to be clear about that. I was in a treat myself kind of mood during the month of January. So I picked up something that's been on my virtual TBR for a really long time, Silver in the Wood by Emily Tesh. And I did not realize how small it was, and that made me want to pick it up in person somehow. Also picked up Courting Samira by Amal Awad, and I really want to read this. The cover's really cute. And then for a little birthday shopping trip, I also went to Barnes & Noble, and my friend Katie bought Gothicana by Runix for me, and I'm very excited about it. I don't often buy hardbacks in a store, but the sprayed edges got me. So thank you again, Katie. But then that same trip, I bought myself Only When It's Us by Chloe Leese, The Extraordinaries by TJ Klune, and Calamity by Constance Fay. My birthday was also the night of the midnight release for the new Crescent City book, so I definitely treated myself to tickets to that event. So I bought a copy of House of Flame and Shadow. I am still behind. I still need to read House of Sky and Breath because I'm worried about being emotionally hurt, but I will get to this sooner rather than later, and in the meantime, I will be dodging spoilers like mad. I forgot to mention this in one of the Barnes & Noble trips. I picked up Never by Jessa Hastings because it was signed. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I went to a used bookstore with two of my good friends and with Jeremy, and we all kind of picked out a couple of books. Most of these were like sequel grabs that I got gently used because it's one of my favorite like used bookstores in LA. That's the last bookstore. So I picked up The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. And even though I am behind on this series, I do really love this size from Outlander. So when I find it, and I could find it for $9, which if you are a fan of the series, you know these things get expensive. But this is An Echo in the Bone by Diana Gabaldon. I do really need to get back in that series. And then I bought two books from Amazon, and I try to kind of limit my Amazon purchases unless they are like an indie or self-pub author that I can only get there, and that's what happened here. So I bought Stolen by the Wolves and Taming the Wolves by Lix Robinson. So if you want to see my deeply passionate thoughts about these books, I will link that up above in the cards for you, but I definitely read both of these, so they will be going in the pile of like subtractors. So those are all the books I brought into my little library this month. And you can see my book dragon is very awake, very alert, very on it. For those of you counting at home, the total books I brought into my house this month, including subscription boxes and gifts, were 26 books in the month of January. Now, 5 of these books were books that I had already read, so that immediately gets us down to the number 21. So these 5 here were purchased because I either read them on a different platform, like my Kindle Unlimited picks, and decided I really wanted to add them to my library, or they're special editions of books that I genuinely loved and am happy to have them on my shelves. So we're already down to 21. That's good, because a D20 only has 20. So it would be nice if I didn't automatically have to read my lowest rated book. So the other number I get to subtract is how many books I read in January. Sadly, I only read 5 books in January. So we will only be able to subtract 5 from that new total of 21. Which means that when I roll for ingredients for my little witch, she's gonna be hurting. I have to take a -16 on whatever I roll. Now, obviously, if I roll something under the number of 16 and the odds of that are pretty high, that just automatically means I have to read the lowest rated book on my TBR. The goal of that too is if I read it and if I really enjoy it, it could end up being a secretly strong ingredient. There's always the chance that I will love something that the rest of the book community is just not vibing with. And weirdly, there's also the chance that if it's really high rated, I'm not feeling it. So it's going to be kind of random in that way. Think a little bit like Pokemon when you throw a ball at a Pokemon, and sometimes even the really strong ones don't catch the little creature, you know? Jeremy has graciously loaned me one of the dice, the D20s that I got him for Christmas a couple of years ago. Speaking of Pokemon, this is the 20. This is the little Eevee, if you can see, is the 20 and not the 1. I have my laptop here with me, so let me roll for you here, and I will also pull up my phone so that I can record and you can see. Oh dear. Okay. So that was a weird one. It ended up in the skirt of my dress, but we did land on 11. Yikes. So again, you just saw that, but we did just land on 11, which means I will have to be reading my lowest rated book in my owned TBR. If my deficit had been less, this might have actually been like a mid-tier ingredient selection for my little book witch, but alas, she's new on the job and got overwhelmed. So let me go find what book that is. Okay, so I found it. I found what my lowest rated book is according to Goodreads, and with a shocking low rating of 2.72. I just want everybody to sit with that for a second. I will be reading in February. It is The 12 Men for Christmas by Philippa Ashley. So we're having some real holiday cognitive dissonance here. This is a shockingly low rating. It is also small, and there's like the little now in motion picture. Now, I did not read any of the reviews yet because I do not want to overly influence myself going into this. I want to have a genuine, authentic experience with this book. I will also be candid about I did not buy this book for myself. This was one of my last page 1 book picks before I unsubscribed from the service. Now, candidly, the low rating of this did not have anything to do with that. I remember at the time feeling like kind of pleased because it was light and a romance. All of that, like I still think very highly of page 1. But let me stop squirming and actually tell you a little bit about what this book says, at least according to the back cover. I'm just gonna read you the back cover because I don't know if I can like summarize without letting my fear drip in. So here we go. 12 Men for Christmas. Emma Tremaine could easily hold a Christmas grudge now that she's lost her boyfriend and her job on the same day. That does sound rough. Instead, she heads to the Lake District for a little peace and quiet. But when she lands a new job with the tourist board and ends up responsible for a fundraiser involving handsome naked men and a calendar photo shoot, quiet is the last thing she'll be getting. One of the men playing Santa might be the perfect Christmas gift, and she's more than willing to try them out one at a time. And somehow that premise gets you to 2.72. We will find out where I rate it, and whatever strength of a rating I give it will determine the strength of the potion ingredients that I'm able to gather for January. So this is a very dramatic first episode of Hordes and Hauls here on the channel. Let me know down in the comments below if there's anything I can clarify about how this game works. I'm only gonna get better at the storytelling and like the rules, and we'll make tweaks together as we go along. But I really hope that this is a fun thing for both you to watch and for me to experience. It's a way to kind of like get to the books that I've not been prioritizing, or in some cases the ones that I think I would prioritize because I'm excited about them. Also in the comments below, if you have any suggestions for next quarter's prompt, I'm going to stick with the average rating prompt until at least April. Thank you for spending time with me. I hope you have a fantastic reading day or night, depending on when you see this video, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!
Hold on, girl, now wait just a minute. I've got something to say, you should hear it.